Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining me on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at Selhurst Park has just got underway. 10th against 11th, Crystal Palace taking on Brentford. Level on points, both on 13. Palace with a slightly better goal difference, three goals better than Brentford going into this game. Sees Oliver Glasner's side in 10th with Keith Andrews' side in 11th. But when you consider how well Palace have started the season and how sort of insecure and uncertain Brentford were in their first few games, certainly a lot of plaudits for Oliver Glasner after the excellent start that Palace made, and just fallen away in the last few weeks, whereas Brentford starting slowly but surely under Keith Andrews, and now in the last few weeks picking up some real form. So the two sides absolutely level as we go into the game today. Palace at home will still feel as though they are favourites up against the Brentford side who've only just started picking up a little bit more form on the road, starting with that excellent win away at West Ham. But Brentford now picked the ball off in midfield. It was a loose ball that was picked off by Michael Coyote, but the Bees now give it away. Schade rolling the ball back straight towards Mateta, who was advancing now. Mateta going all the way towards the edge of the area. The ball's been picked off as well. There's a half a chance there because Schade was tracking back towards the penalty area. He actually won the ball off Mateta after he gave it away to him, but then it deflected into the path of Ismaila Sarr. Thankfully, for Brentford's point of view, the ball deflected far enough towards Kelleher that he was able to make the save, and it's now Brentford trying to get forward here with Henderson, a pass down the right-hand side for the advancing Otara, but that one is blocked by Daichi Kamada. So I'll just remind you of the two 11s for Crystal Palace. It is Dean Henderson in goal with the back three of Chris Richards, Maxence Lacroix and Mark Gay. The four across the middle are Daniel Munoz, Daichi Kamada, Jefferson Lerma and Tyrick Mitchell, with Ismaila Sarr, Jeremy Pino and Jean-Philippe Mateta as the attacking three. For Brentford, it is Clement Kelleher in goal with the back four of Michael Coyote, Nathan Collins, Sepp Vandenberg and Christopher Ayer. The two holder midfielders are Jordan Henderson and Yeko Yarmoliuk. The three ahead of them, Dango Otara, Mikkel Damsgaard and Kevin Schade. The front man is Igor Thiago. It's a goal kick to Crystal Palace. A long ball for Brentford, just going a little bit askew, and it is Henderson looking to start with a short ball, but there's plenty of Brentford players making a nuisance of themselves as well, just making it a little bit more difficult for Palace. So in the end, Henderson decides to abort the idea of a short goal kick and just clears it long, well into the Brentford half, headed forward by Nathan Collins. Bit of head tennis now as Otara heads that one forward. It won't quite get through towards Schade. Bouncing ball taken down here by Damsgaard. He's under pressure though from Ismaila Sarr. Goes back towards Ayer, who hooks a very high ball towards the Palace penalty area. It's partially dealt with there by Lacroix, but it's loose ball mopped up here by Igor Thiago, who goes out towards the left-hand side. And Yarmoliuk now going back towards Ayer. Brentford are back in possession here in midfield. They're seeing a bit more of the ball, I would say, in these first 3 minutes. As long ball now from Collins down the right-hand side. Otara chasing that one down. He gets away from Gahey, but Lacroix had too much of a head start on that one. He's able to put it out for a throw. And we know what happens when Brentford get a throw close to the opposition penalty area. So this is effectively like a corner kick for the Bees now, as Coyote limbers up to try and launch this one as long as he can. And he may just have to be a little bit quicker, of course, a little bit of social media attention on just how long it took Brentford to take their throws against Liverpool last week. I dare say the actual opposition probably had something to do with that, but it's Coyote's ball now into the box, headed up in the air just at the edge of the 6-yard box. Is a second ball in fact, no. Our referee Peter Banks has stopped play, but what's he stopped play for? I think it's is it a foul throw? I think it might be. And I'll tell you what, this is like kryptonite for Michael Coyote, because that's his special skill is the long throw. What was wrong with what he did here? Oh, he must have. I don't know whether he. I mean, it wasn't the referee that stopped play. It was actually the linesman that put his flag up immediately after Coyote took the long throw. So I'm not entirely sure what. So looking at the replay. Oh well, actually, I've seen the replay again. Does he put the ball entirely behind his head? I mean, it's. Entirely. The replay only shows the top half of Michael Coyote. It doesn't show his feet either, because if his feet were off the ground, or one of his feet was off the ground, then that potentially could have been the reason for it being declared a foul throw. But that's certainly something that's going to get Michael Coyote's attention. His long throws are something that Brentford certainly like to employ time and again when they have the chance, and there he was pulled up for a foul throw. But it's now a long ball down the left-hand side here for Crystal Palace. It's going to be a little bit too far behind Jean-Philippe Mateta, so it's just a throw to Brentford here on the right-hand side. This is one of 5 Premier League games being played right now, as well as this on our service. We also have Brighton against Leeds, Burnley against Arsenal, Wolves against Fulham against Wolves, and Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. and all those games are available on our service, and they're all goalless as it stands. But here come Palace now, pushing forward with Ismail Assar. He's really been harassed there by Henderson, and it's a trip, and it's going to be a free kick to Palace. Just a little bit too much there in the end. I think it was Yarmolenko tracking back as well, and referee Peter Banks is in absolutely no doubt about that one. It's a free kick to Palace in a decent position as well. And it was Yarmolenko in the end that just gets tangled there with Sarr. Oh, he tangles with Sarr. I mean, there was nothing wrong with what Ismail Assar was doing. He was heading towards the penalty area, and suddenly he gets tripped from behind. So it's going to be a free kick to Palace, and they've got a couple of potential free kick takers here. It is close enough for a shot, but it's potentially just a little bit too far wide. Just looking at the way the Palace players are setting up, it looks like it's going to be a cross into the penalty area here. We've got Kamada, Pino in discussion there as to what they want to do with the ball. Tyrick Mitchell is there as well for a left-footed option. Kamada steps over it, and it's Munos's right-footed ball towards the back post, headed across by Mark Gahey, but right onto the head of Nathan Collins. And there's a second ball at the edge. There's going to be another free kick to Crystal Palace here. Brentford making a bit of a mess of clearing their lines, and there's just a bit of a late challenge there. It's going to be a free kick just at the edge of the D, and this is only going to be a shot from here. The previous free kick we saw slightly further out wide, but this time can't see anything other than a strike on goal. It's just at the edge of the D, and it's Pino and Kamada again. Mitchell stood just behind. This is a really good opportunity for Crystal Palace now, and Peter Banks is just counting the steps here before we get this free kick for the home side. I mentioned, as I say, it's been a bit of a dip in form for Palace just recently. They did beat Liverpool, of course, in that very impressive Carabao Cup win in midweek, but that came off the back of 4 games without a win, including defeats at home to Larnaca, defeats away to Arsenal, a 3-3 draw against Bournemouth, as well as that 2-1 reverse away to Everton at the start of October. Now it's a free kick to Palace here. It's Kamada, steps over it. Pino goes for goal. He smashes it straight into the wall, and it deflects out for a throw to Palace on the left-hand side. It's always a difficult one when it's that close to the edge of the area. You need to lift it, of course, but you can't lift it too high. You're going to be worrying about going over the bar, and in the end, Pino never lifted it high enough. It goes into the wall, and it's out for a throw to Palace on the left-hand side. Jefferson Lerma, he's got a long throw as well. As I say, this the idea that a few more pundits are now talking about long throws being a fashion doesn't mean that that's true. Long throws have been in for quite some time. It's just that a few more of the big teams have started using them recently, most notably Arsenal, so suddenly it's become a fashion. But actually, if you look back through the archives, there have been Premier League teams in the last 10 years that have all been using long throws, not just Rory Delap and his understudy Ryan Shotton. There's been plenty of other long throw experts over the years. But now we're going to see this corner kick for Palace. It was a ball into the box from the long throw, headed out for a corner, and it is Yeremy Pino over on the left-hand side now, lifts that one into the 6-yard box. It's actually curling towards goal, but it was also curling far too close towards goalkeeper Kelleher, who comes out and makes a comfortable save, and he boots this one long as well over the halfway line, heading towards the penalty area. Schade is chasing this one. Little bit petulant there from Kevin Schade. Daniel Munoz was just running across him there, so Schade just shoved him out of the way. It didn't really matter anyway in terms of where the ball was going, because he comfortably ends up with Dean Henderson anyway. He rolls this out over towards the right-hand side. Getting shouts from our Fulham studio. Just next door to me is where our colleagues are doing Fulham against Wolves, and I believe there's a goal for Fulham in that game. Confirm the goal scorer in just a moment. A long ball played towards the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Pino was chasing that one, but Collins gets there first. He plays it back towards Kelleher, who's long ball up towards Otara. Otara doesn't win the header, but it's actually nodded out for a throw by Mitchell on that left-hand side for Palace. So it is a throw to Brentford. Over on the right-hand side, Michael Coyote waiting to restart play. Fulham have taken the lead against Wolves, and it's Ryan Sessegnon with the goal for Fulham in that game. Just to remind you all, there are 2 late games in the Premier League this evening. 5:30 Spurs against Chelsea, and then 8 o'clock it's Liverpool against Aston Villa. 2 very good games there, I would say. We're in the first round of the FA Cup today as well, so we'll keep an eye out for any potential shocks in that one, as well as plenty of action in the Championship. There are 3 earlier games in the Championship. We finished Leicester 0, Blackburn 2, Norwich 0, Hull City 2, and it also finished goalless at the Hawthorns between West Bromwich Albion and Sheffield Wednesday. Back here at Selhurst Park, 9.5 minutes on the clock. It is goalless between Palace and Brentford. Palace probably are making the better impression so far. They've spent a bit more time inside the Brentford half after a first few minutes where the Bees were looking pretty positive, trying to push forward. They've struggled to get any kind of midfield possession since then, as the ball is hooked up in the air by Kamada. It goes over towards the right-hand side. Munoz won't get there first. It's Henderson who just plays the ball back towards Vandenberg. And now it's Brentford pushing down the left-hand side here with Christopher Ajer. Stopped in his tracks, just plays it back to Yarmoliuk. Now back over towards the left-hand side. It's played towards the edge of the area now, but Sharda leaves that for the invisible player. I think he was assuming that Igor Thiago was tracking him, but now it's a lovely ball out towards the left-hand side for Palace, and it's with Mitchell, heads towards the edge of the area, just being closed down there by Coyote, plays it back towards Kamada. Now it's Gehi, inside towards Pino, back to Lacroix on the halfway line. Towards the right-hand side, a bit of pressing here from Brentford as well, but Richards and Lacroix can hold on to this, no problem at all. Kamada now being closed down by Damsgaard, but he tries a diagonal ball to Daichi Kamada, and it's a good one. Oh, I said that a little bit too soon. It looked like a good ball, it's just a little bit too high there for Daniel Munoz. He can't keep it in play. It's out for a throw to Brentford on the left-hand side. So Oliver Glasner there, barking out some instructions to his players. He'll be very aware of the fact that his side just need to pick up a little bit of form in the league. They're on the attack again now with a ball in from Pino, but he rushed that one. It was too far away from Mateta, although in fairness Mateta has chased that ball all the way outside the penalty area, but that ball was never really close enough to him. Brentford now in possession as Damsgaard finds Henderson, who's moving on down the right-hand side this time, back in towards Yarmoliuk. Square now to Vandenberg, who's over the halfway line. What about a long ball down the left-hand side? Just plays it short in the end towards Christopher Ajer. Maintains his position as the left-back following that impressive win for Brentford against Liverpool last Saturday. They've also had a very impressive win in midweek in the meantime, winning away at Grimsby by 5. I say impressive, I mean they were playing a League 2 opposition, but Grimsby have put a couple of good sides to the sword already this season, most notably Manchester United, but no such luck against Brentford. A very changed outfit from Keith Andrews, running out very comfortable 5-0 winners. The throw on to Brentford now on the left-hand side. Take two as far as Michael Coyote is concerned. His first long throw today was adjudged to have been a foul throw. So he's now got to watch what he does with his feet and with his arms. But this one, no flag from the linesman, no whistle from the referee. It's a long ball into the box. Both sets of players have their arms up. And in the end, the referee points to the corner flag as Nathan Collins was jumping for that one. He's claiming that he deflected that ball off an opposition player before it went out for a corner, and I think the referee agrees. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Collins nods the ball and stood just behind him with Jefferson Lerma, and the ball comes off the Crystal Palace number 8 before it goes out for a corner kick. So a chance now for Brentford with their first corner of the afternoon. It's going to be an in-swinger, heading towards, just a little bit too low, easily headed away by Ismaili Assar. Just at the edge of the 6-yard box by the near post, and it's played all the way back down towards Kelleher in the Brentford goal. He's just at the edge of his own penalty area. Finds Yarmoliuk. Yarmoliuk's long ball towards the edge of the area is headed away. It was a decent header as well from Lacroix. Kamada now for Palace. Up to the halfway line. It's picked off here by Yarmoliuk, and now Henderson. Short in towards Sharda. Ball out towards the right-hand side again here for Damsgaard. Here is Coyote. Over the top now, Otara going on the overlap, but the pass was asking a little bit too much of him, and that's very good covering from Lacroix. But it was made easy by the fact that the pass was overhit. So Lacroix could see that the ball clearly had enough legs to go out for a goal kick. He just needed to make sure that he got his body in the way. And the big frame of Maximus Lacroix did exactly that. It's out for a goal kick to Palace now. With 14 minutes on the clock, it is still goalless here at Selhurst Park, and we've just had another goal in the Premier League. In fact, we've had 2 goals in the Premier League. I've just confirmed, first of all, that Brighton have taken the lead against Leeds United. That's been in the last 2 minutes. Danny Welbeck with the goal, Max Vafer with the assist for that one, and also at Turf Moor, it's Burnley 0, Arsenal 1, and it's Victor Gyökeres with the goal for Arsenal in that game. Important goal for the Gunners, an important goal for Gyökeres himself as well. A lot's been made of his perhaps I must say average is a bit harsh, but certainly maybe not the best start. He probably would have liked to have had a few more goals. As Palace on the attack now, across from 30 yards out. It hits into the penalty area. It wasn't controlled first time. There's a second chance here for Kamada. Brentford just guilty of ball watching there when that first cross went into the penalty area. But now a combination of Collins and Coyote do clear their lines, and it's a lovely header on, and all of a sudden Otara is going forward. He's being tracked here by Gay, but Otara gets to the edge of the area. He goes for goal, but that's really good covering though from Chris Richards. In fairness, Otara never did anything to get rid of Chris Richards. He just about dribbled the ball away from Mark Gay, and he had enough space to set himself and go for goal. But he didn't legislate for the fact that Richards was still in front of him. Did nothing really to try and trick the American defender. And in the end, his strike goes straight into the feet of Richards, and now Palace clear their lines. It wasn't really a pass to Mateta, who's had virtually no... In fact, it's fair to say that both number 9s, although Mateta has 14 on his shirt, but you know what I mean, both front men for both for Palace and for Brentford this afternoon have had no service at all. There's not been a single direct ball played in towards Mateta, and likewise to Igor Thiago so far. Is Brentford just starting to see a bit more of the ball in these last few minutes? Not getting any joy really in front of Henderson's goal, barring that last quick counter for Otara. Vandenberg now over to Ayer on the left-hand side. Laying it back now towards goalkeeper Kelleher. Has made a couple of mistakes this season. I think that whilst his shot-stopping ability has never really been in doubt, it's the confidence in the penalty area, coming out for crosses, actually claiming the crosses. That's where he seems to have come unstuck a few times. You have to be very careful as a top goalkeeper playing in a Premier League team to not get that reputation, because as soon as that gets around the league that there's a keeper that isn't confident on crosses, well, you can be sure that every opposition are going to try and put even more crosses and get even more players in front of you just to try and make you even more nervous when coming up for a ball into the box. So it's very important that Kelleher gets that monkey off his back as quickly as possible. But Palace now in possession here with Pino going back towards Kamada. It's Lerman out in towards Mateta, who's losing his balance as he plays that one out towards the right hand side, but it's kept in play. So nice work there from Daniel Munoz. Here is Jefferson Lerma again. It's back towards Lacroix. Now Gahey on the left hand side. I do wonder what his future holds, Mark Gahey. Of course, he's got just over 6 months left on his contract, so by the end of the January window, if Palace haven't signed him up to a new deal, or they haven't sold him, then Gay is going to be able to sign a contract with anybody in the world. And having a player like that, knowing that he's still got to play 3 or 4 months for you, whilst you also know he's going to be signing for someone else, isn't ideal either. So in fact, when you sort of think of top level play, it doesn't really happen. But now Palace take advantage as Ismaila Sarr breaks in on the right hand side, plays it square into the 6-yard box. There's 4 Palace players waiting, but the pass is blocked off by Collins. Second ball coming back into the box, and this time it's volleyed clear by Coyote. A long volley out towards the halfway line. It's gone out for a throw, but it was good covering from Brentford in the end. But the space that Palace initially had, we'll see again from this replay, it's just one slip there from I think it was from Vandenberg. He committed himself far too early. Ismaila Sarr then charges into the box. And as I say, there were 4 players he could have chosen from there, but his square ball is stopped by Nathan Collins, and Brentford from there were able to clear their lines. But it's certainly a warning to the Bees. There's ball now back with Henderson. He's being closed down by Igor Thiago. He's still in enough time to get this ball out towards Lacroix. Gahey now back towards his own goalkeeper, with Kamada just having to drop a little bit deeper here. And it's up towards the right hand side here now. Damsgaard just under a little bit of pressure there, plays that one early towards Otara, who's just hobbling a little bit after that collision as well. And now it's Jefferson Lerma plays a diagonal ball out to no one in particular, and it's out for a throw to Brentford. Still hobbling a little bit after that. Well, I said collision. It didn't really even look. It looked quite innocuous, really. But ball is now on the right-hand side. Oh yeah, now square to Damsgaard. Damsgaard looks up. Thought about playing a long ball, but Igor Thiago was being well marshalled. Now he tries a second ball aimed at Schade this time. That's blocked by Munoz, and now early ball here from Kamada, played in towards Pino. Pino clips one over the top. That's a little bit too short for Ismaila Sarr, although Vandenberg, again, I mean, we saw him, maybe he's got a little bit rattled by the pace of Ismaila Sarr, because that's twice we've seen Vandenberg just seemingly lose his bearing slightly when he's got Ismaila Sarr around him. It's out for a throw to Palace on the right-hand side. Jefferson Lerma is waiting to take this one. He does have a long throw on him here, Jefferson Lerma. Just waiting to see where his teammates have positioned themselves. Teta applauding. He's going to have to be in a good position here to try and get on the end of this one. Here is the ball in from Lerma, headed away at the edge of the 6-yard box. It drops to Henderson, who then clips it out towards the right-hand side. Then Damsgaard tried to play that one away, but he runs straight into trouble. And then trying to win that ball back there alongside Ayer. It's out for another throw to Crystal Palace on the right-hand side. And Lerma never had too much time to get away from that right-hand side anyway, so he's back across to take this throw. Trying to launch this one as far as he can towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed up in the air by Mateta, but it's just a looping ball up in the air. Kelleher is underneath that, and he makes a comfortable save. Here come Brentford now. Coyote might have just been tripped there, but he's still able to keep the ball. There's a strong challenge in midfield to win it off him, but no foul, says the referee, and he's okay to play on now. Otara skips away from Mitchell and he puts an early ball in, and Henderson is waiting to claim that one, but Lacroix comes across and slides out for a corner, which he didn't actually need to do. But whether or not Henderson called it and Lacroix overruled him and goes, no, there's a ball right in front of the 6-yard box, I'm dealing with it regardless of where my keeper is. Maybe he didn't hear the call, maybe just didn't trust it because he knew that Igor Thiago was close by anyway. But safety first there for Maxence Lacroix. Puts it out for a corner kick to Brentford. 21.5 minutes on the clock. Unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary here from the Premier League. Crystal Palace 0, Brentford 0, and it's going to be an out-swinging corner from Mikkel Damsgaard. It's always angled away from its intended target of Vandenberg. It's still kept alive though. Played back towards Coyote, who is on the halfway line. Square now to Henderson. Towards Damsgaard on the right-hand side. His pass though is blocked by Daniel Munoz, out for a throw to Brentford. Munoz getting back into position as Coyote takes this ball off Damsgaard. It doesn't take it long this time, which means more than 40 yards from goal, so even he hasn't got as long a throw as that. But now Henderson finding Damsgaard on the right-hand side. There's an overlap from Coyote, and it's a cross into the box from him, which is headed away towards the edge of the area. Will be kept alive here for Brentford by Jan Moliuk. He tries the ball into the box himself. It's angling away towards the right-hand side. Here's Coyote. Running into trouble there, Coyote. The ball now one off him by Yeri Pino. Pino then runs straight into trouble and just about gets the ball, and it's a good ball as well to find Mateta, who's now charging through the middle. He's got support on the left-hand side in the form of Tyreek Mitchell, and Mitchell's got to the edge of the area. There he is on the overlap. He puts the ball into the ball, and it's well charged down. That's good covering there from Henderson. So he puts the ball out for a corner kick on the left-hand side as Palace look. Decent run that from Mitchell, but it's also good covering there from the veteran Henderson, who really has quite seamlessly slotted into this Brentford team. They really were missing midfield general. Even if Damsgaard hadn't left in the summer, I still think that it would have been a good idea for Brentford to have signed him, just because they were missing that kind of textbook central defensive midfielder. They had a couple of players that could play in that role, but I just don't think that they, even at his veteran age here, Henderson, I still think that he's absolutely the right fit for Brentford in that. But a corner kick now to Palace is going to be an in-swinger from Pino. It's an angled ball towards the back post. This time Kelleher didn't come for it, but it's headed away. And decent header there as well from Vandenberg. And Munoz keeps it alive. Second ball coming back into the box. It's headed across by Chris Richards. But all he can do is head it closer to the goalkeeper. Easy save in the end there for Kelleher. Just rolls this ball out to Vandenberg. And Vandenberg towards the right-hand side now for Coyote. Back into the middle here with Damsgaard just being clear. I mentioned Palace's form just going off a little bit in the last 4 or 5 games, until that excellent win against Liverpool in midweek. Brentford, on the other hand, had a bit of a slow start to the season, but actually the last 5 or 6 games have looked a lot better for Keith Andrews' side. That defeat away to Fulham on the 20th of September certainly sticks out like a sore thumb. But then after that, it was that impressive win against Manchester United, then a close defeat against Man City 1-0. Before that, first away win the season in the league at the London Stadium, and then that 3-2 win against Liverpool last time out as well. So things certainly have got better for Keith Andrews' side, but let's not speak too early about this being a good start. There's still a long way to go, even in terms of us saying it's a good start to the season. Brentford could lose their next 3 or 4 games on the trot, and all of a sudden they're bang in trouble again. But so far so good. I think a lot of people wrote Brentford off even before the season started. That's just because of Thomas Frank leaving, as well as flagship players. They certainly have been getting a tune out of this style of play the last few weeks. Kamada now finding Mateta. Over towards the left-hand side now. It's half a chance for, just thought about it. Gets the ball across and it loops up in the air before it just lands safely into the arms of Kelleher. You see Keith Andrews there just trying to get some instructions out to his players as well. You'll know that this is a great opportunity for Brentford to really start putting more points on the board, getting a bit more daylight between themselves and the bottom 3, because for all the ambition that any manager might have, I'll just break off from that though, because Brentford put the ball back into play, then it was cleared and played long straight back towards the Brentford penalty area. Jeremy Pino breaking into the box, but the ball gets through towards Kelleher. Brentford give it away again though, and here is Kamada now working towards the edge of the box, finding Mitchell back to Kamada, drops his shoulder, then he goes for goal. It's angling away, and it didn't even need any kind of save from Henderson, from goalkeeper Kelleher in the end. It was always going wide, a long way wide. So Kamada saw the goal just on as he was breaking on the penalty here on the left-hand side, but the strike at the end was always. Well, in fact, we can see from that replay that Kelleher was actually tucking his hand in at the very last second there, realising he really wouldn't have to make a save. There's an issue here now with both Nathan Collins and Jordan Henderson, sort of the club captain and the club's most experienced Premier League player, having a quick word with Peter Banks. But why they were, I'm not entirely sure. It may well be that Peter Banks has already been making them aware of the fact that they're taking too long over their goal kicks. Sure that there's much logic to that in the 27th minute when it's 0-0, but referee obviously felt as though, that's just me surmising. I haven't seen anything else that the referee could have been potentially annoyed about. Glasner on his feet now, just trying to pass on some instructions to his players. There's only 2 games in the Premier League being played now that are still goalless. It's our game here between Palace and Brentford, as well as the game between Nottingham Forest and Manchester United. Now with Kelleher. It's playing it long, but there's too many Palace players upfield. There's also 4 Palace players lurking at the edge of the area, so eventually it's a quick ball out towards the left, then it's hooked up in the air, chasing Otara there. Along with Munoz, the ball then deflects off Dango Otara, who can't quite believe the referee's decision. He's convinced that should be a throw on to Brentford. It's been a tough game so far for the attacking 3 of Brentford. Whether it's Otara, Shada or Igor Thiago, virtually no service, no opportunities so far. Now on the halfway line here with Jan Moliuk. Henderson gets blocked off by Lerma. But then Brentford win it back here with Dango Otara trying to play an early ball in towards Igor Thiago. Well marshalled by Mark Gay, and then it's Richards' ball up to the halfway line, headed forward by Vandenberg. Back to Richards, over the head of Kamada. It was Otara trying to play that ball in towards Igor Thiago, but he was well marshalled. It's back on the left-hand side. Turning once and turning twice there. Nice work from Christopher Ayer before he goes back towards his own goalkeeper Kelleher. Down the right this time from Coyote, doesn't quite reach its intended target, and now it's with Mark Gahey for Palace, who was clearly pushed in the back there by Mikkel Damsgaard. I say clearly, it wasn't like a hugely intentional foul, but it was enough. It was enough to put Gahey off his stride and try and give Palace a bit more of a chance to send this ball long, and potentially give Brentford a bit of respite as well, because the last few minutes has mainly been Crystal Palace in possession. It'll be Kamada. Away from me though. It's going to be Jeremy Pino to take this free kick for Crystal Palace. 30 minutes on the clock, and Pino now looks up. Brentford have set up around 25 yards out with their offside. It's Pino's ball towards the edge of the area, headed across by Richards. Mateta! Oh, it's a lovely looping header into the top corner, and Crystal Palace take the lead on 30 minutes. Standard celebrations there from Mateta, the acrobatic kick straight into the corner flag. But Brentford will be disappointed with this. It's two headers that have done for them there. Richards jumping across at the edge of the 6-yard box on the right-hand side, nods that one across goal, but then Mateta still has a bit to do, sends that ball looping but with purpose into the top corner, and Kelleher pretty much rooted to the spot. Palace take the lead, and we'll see again. It's Pino with a long ball into the box. It's a header from Richards, and it's a really good header from Mateta. In fact, I'll take back my last statement. Richards was there. He was jumping for it, but he was actually beaten in the air to it by his own teammate Jefferson Lerma. So the two of them moved for that one, but it was actually Jefferson Lerma that got the telling touch, heading that ball across the penalty area just in front of the 6-yard box. And I said that Kelleher didn't move. He did actually move. He made a couple of steps over to the right when he realised the ball was going towards goal, but by the time he realised where it was looping to, it's too late. The ball's in the back of the net, and Crystal Palace take the lead, and that just leaves Nottingham Forest against Manchester United as the only game that's still goalless this afternoon in the 3 o'clock Premier League kickoffs. Important goal that for Palace. As I said, they had an excellent win with a very changed side away to Liverpool in midweek. Their league form in the last 3 or 4 games hasn't been great. So the fact they've now taken the lead here against Brentford with less than 15 minutes to go in the first half, and that's really something to build on. But Brentford have gone up the other end in the meantime and won themselves a throw on in a decent position. So here is Michael Coyote now to take the throw for Brentford from the left-hand side. Launches that one into the box. It's headed away by Richards. Second header from Kamada. It's now bouncing at the edge of the area. It's headed back, and then Sharda trying to get on the end of it, but the ball's only partially cleared. It's back for Brentford on the left-hand side. Coyote was still after taking the throw, but now he loses the ball, and suddenly it's Palace on the counter. Heading down the right wing is Ismaili Assar. Now he switches play over towards the left. That's a lovely touch in the pass there from Pino to pick out Tyrick Mitchell. Mitchell into the penalty area, charged down by the returning Dango Otara, and that will be a corner kick to Crystal Palace. But that really was a lovely counter-attacking move. Very well played. We're getting word of a goal at the City Ground. It's no longer goalless, so every game in the Premier League has had a goal. Now I'll tell you about that goal in just a second. Right now I want to see this corner kick from Jeremy Pino. 33 minutes on the clock on official independent off-tube studio commentary. Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 0. Jean-Philippe Mateta with the goal. And here comes the free kick from Pino now. The corner kick from Pino now, I should say, headed up in the air by Coyote. Second ball is only clear towards the edge of the area. Mitchell to the box. It's headed down. Jefferson Lerma now picking it up on the right-hand side, playing it back towards Munoz. And Manchester United have taken the lead at the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1. And it's the in-form Casemiro. He's got a couple of goals recently, hasn't he? I think he's scored 2 or 3 since that red card he got against Chelsea. So he'll be very happy about that. But Palace on the attack now down the right-hand side. Brentford aren't happy because they feel as though that ball went out for a goal kick. Kevin Sharda leading the protest there for the Bees. Linesman, however, begs to differ. We'll see whether the linesman has a point. I don't think there's any doubt that Kevin Sharda hit the ball out last. I suppose his argument would be that maybe he was being fouled, and actually Sharda has talked himself into the book, because clearly that was never going to be a yellow card on its own, just the fact that he was tangled with an opposition player before a corner kick was given, but his reaction is what's paid for that. The corner itself disappointing from Palace. It's played to the edge of the area and Brentford clear their lines, and now it's with Mitchell and Munoz who've dropped a little bit deeper. It's Munoz's ball into the box is cleared towards the edge of the area. It's Ismaili Assar with the strike, and that was not too far away at all. Kelleher diving quickly down to his left hand post, but thankfully for him, ball just wide of the mark. really well. Ismaili Assar take that ball down on the chest and hits it. It's a really decent strike as well, but Kelleher just couldn't get on the. Kelleher didn't need to get on the end of that one in the end, just saw that one was going wide. It's a second goal at Turf Moor. It's now Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. Brentford play out from the back despite there being two Palace players in the vicinity. It's now back with goalkeeper Kelleher. Vandenberg out towards Ayer on the left-hand side. Thiago wanted to leave that one for Otara. Won't reach him though, and here come Palace now with Jeremy Pino's pass out towards the right-hand side. It seems to be going out for a corner. No, it's still kept in play. It's whipped in, and that ball coming in, but it's quickly headed away by Collins. And then a clearance from Coyote over the halfway line. With Palace now getting the ball back here. Gay playing it back towards Henderson. This is Ismaili Assar. He's dropped quite deep into his own half. So it's going from bad to worse at Molineux now. It is going from bad to worse at Molineux in general, although Wolves aren't playing at Molineux this afternoon, just to stop the confusion. But what I meant to say was things are going from bad to worse for Wolverhampton Wanderers this afternoon, because they're already a goal down after a strike from Ryan Sessegnon on 9 minutes, and now Ethan Agbadou has been shown a straight red card on 36 minutes. Sometimes think a straight red card, depending on the circumstances and on how it was actually achieved or earned or punished with. Sometimes you can see a lot about the atmosphere. I've seen a couple of players who clearly wanted to leave their clubs, and because the club weren't listening in their eyes, so they started to show their dissent off on the pitch by getting some unnecessary yellow and red cards. I'm not sure exactly what the background is towards Agbadou there, but Agbadou's already off. Fulham already a goal up in that one. No change in any of the other scores that I can see. In fact, I take that back. Just as I was saying those words, we have actually got another goal at Turf Moor. It's Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. Declan Rice with a goal there on 35 minutes for Arsenal, as Henderson now moving the ball forward for Brentford. There's been precious little Brentford possession really. When we add up the 37 minutes we've had so far, it's only really the first 10 minutes where Brentford made a slightly better impression. Since then, it has been very tough for the Beast to do anything in front of goal at all. Here's Damsgaard, out swinging ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's only partially cleared, headed back in by Vandenberg, kept alive by Collins. Back to Damsgaard, who drives that one across the 6-yard box. Good header away by Lacroix. Second ball there at the edge there. Yarmoliuk colliding there with Kamada, and Kamada has hit the deck in some pain, and that will be a free kick to Palace just at the edge of their own box. Kamada just needs a moment to pick himself up there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what Yarmoliuk did there at all. I'm not even sure how much contact he actually makes here, but I suppose once there is a head injury, then there's no that sort of trumps anything else, really, doesn't it? If there's going to be a decision for the referee to make. Clearance from Henderson now, taken out at the edge of the area by Ayer. Brentford have the ball back, and it's a quick ball up towards Igor Thiago. Well, I'm not exaggerating. I think he's touched the ball maybe 3 or 4 times in this game so far, if that even. It really has been very much starved of any service, but it's now Palace on the attack down the right-hand side with Jefferson Lerma. Lifts that cross too far, eludes everyone inside the penalty area. Will still be kept in play on the left-hand side. Cross coming in. So Collins is able to quickly clear that one. And this right-hand side now was but he couldn't keep it in play. Out for a throw to Palace on the left-hand side. I do wonder there as well, just a strange sort of how sometimes footballers react. I mean, there was a throw onto Palace, and Gay sort of put his hands out like he wanted Coyote to pass him the ball. Coyote did pass him the ball, but it was on the deck. And then all of a sudden, pass, just the ball just wasn't picked up. It's a strange kind of situation. But it's going to be a free kick here now to Brentford as Kevin Schade just rolled the ball and then ran straight into his man. Yeah, I mean, Richards might argue that he's done nothing wrong, but there was a moment there where he clearly not only stepped forward but actually positioned his shoulder slightly like he was expecting a bit of an impact. So, yeah, I think he's got absolutely no leg to stand on there. It's going to be a free kick to Brentford. It's still inside the centre circle. So it's a long way from goal. They have got plenty of aerial threats in the Bees. Here comes the ball from Henderson. Out comes the other Henderson. He makes a very comfortable save. Henderson saving Henderson's cross, and the ball now out towards the right-hand side. Ismail Yassar will chase this one, but easily getting back to that one first was Coyote, who was still on that left-hand side, having taken that initial long throw. Only now is Michael Coyote trotting back towards his natural right-sided position. The halfway line here for Brentford now is Mikkel Damsgaard. Starting on the left-hand side, he wanted to switch play, but he was being quickly closed down. Just goes back towards Jan Moliuk. Collins back towards goalkeeper Kelleher. Out to Vandenberg. The two substitute benches, by the way, for Palace it is Canvo, Cardines, Klein, Devaney, Esse, I should say, Hughes, Sosa, and Uche, as well as goalkeeper Benitez. As far as Brentford are concerned, it's Carvalho, Henry, Janelt, Jensen, Lewis Potter, Nelson, Onyeka Pinnock, and goalkeeper Valdimarsson. Those are the two benches for Oliver Glasner and Keith Andrews, respectively. A long clearance from Kelleher goes over the head of Schade, out for a throw to Palace on the right-hand side. Glasner still not too happy with his side. From his body language, you could suggest that, although he must be pleased overall. That managers are always looking for that improvement in style, for that ruthlessness, but sometimes you have to look at the positives as well. They've not had any league win in 4, so to be one up here against the Brentford side that famously don't do well on the road, and famously don't chase leads very often either. So this is certainly encouraging here for Palace. Top now played towards the edge of the area. Richards is chasing this one. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't, and he can't force the ball off a Brentford player either. So it will be a throw onto the Bees over on the right-hand side. No prizes for guessing what's going to happen here. It's going to be a ball in from Michael Coyote. His ball in is only palmed away by Henderson. Now there's a foul right at the edge of the area here. Kamada, with that slightly frustrated smile on his face, he's tripped Mikkel Damsgaard, and it's not a penalty. It's definitely not a penalty, but it's maybe half a yard away from being a penalty. That's how close it is to the line. Well, maybe it's more like maybe a yard, but in any case, it's still very, very close. So I suppose Kamada will be pleased that if the referee's going to give that foul, that at least the foul was committed just outside the box rather than just in the box. To Brentford, and Damsgaard is standing over it. Whether Damsgaard will fancy it, or whether there's an option for Dango Otara as well. It's very close towards the edge of the area, pretty much bang on the line. So it's right, the right shot selection here, and golf term, I suppose, the right club from this sort of distance is absolutely crucial in this kind of scenario. We'll just wait to see. Referee still not happy about something before we can see this free kick. Pino that's laid down behind the wall just to stop any low balls. Surprising goalkeeper Dean Henderson, and it's Jordan Henderson, Mikkel Damsgaard and Dango Otara in discussions before this free kick is taken. Slips away a little bit now. Is it going to be Dango Otara? Is it going to be Henderson? Is it going to be Damsgaard? It's taking a while for this free kick to be taken before Dango Otara looks like he's making the more confident strides here. He was, but then he leaves it for Damsgaard, who sends it a long way over the bar. It's a disappointing free kick in the end for all that build-up. It never looked close really from Mikkel Damsgaard. Out for a goal kick to Crystal Palace. So we're over the 45 minutes now. We're going to get 1 minute of added time at the end of this first half. A first half where I think Keith Andrews would be frustrated. In terms of energy levels, I think his side have been okay for maybe 20-25 minutes of the half, but there's been far too much in terms of a pedestrian sort of approach, just trying to sort of stifle what Palace are doing. Very little in terms of an attacking threat as well. So something's going to have to improve from Brentford in terms of that score. Because Palace are desperate to try and get back to winning ways to follow up their wonderful win against Liverpool at Anfield in midweek with a win in the Premier League. He's got a few more seconds to play in this first half, and Munoz now throws it towards the edge of the Brentford penalty area. It's nodded out for another throw. The ball over the top, and now chasing this one all the way is Igor Thiago. We're over the minute, but the referee's going to allow this attack to go on. No, because Igor Thiago is stopped in his tracks there by Maxence Lacroix. The ball is then put out for a throw, but there won't be any more time to see any of that because the referee has called time on this first half at Selhurst Park, where Crystal Palace lead against Brentford after a goal from a header from Jean-Philippe Mateta. I'm back for you in 15 minutes.